Welcome back to My Hero, My Life. As you can tell, I am not your friendly neighborhood hot dog lover. We've been busy with a whole other project, which I'll talk about a bit more at the end of this video. Due to that, MHML has not had the time or energy to devote to putting out more content. We had this epic battle over whether we should continue this channel. In the end, I won and determined that I would try to continue some of the more prominent series. I'm not looking to do a regular schedule, but I do feel that you all deserve more videos. If you love our stuff, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you never miss a thing. Today I'll be reading a script that I wrote a while back and you have all been requesting. What if Deku was Venom? Part 11. He's not here. So let's do this. Don't tell him I said that. Oh, wait. If you just found out that this series exists, or you want to revisit the first 10 parts, I put together a video just for that. You can watch all 10 without the intros and outros, just one long story. No need to thank me. Just go watch it, like it, subscribe, and again, that bell. Deku throws open the door of the lab. His eyes frantically search the room for that which was taken from him. Eri stands behind him, peering into the scientist's lab. Those inside scramble about. One grabs a walkie-talkie and radios for help. Midoriya's eyes fall upon his other half in the hands of one of them. A shiver runs through him as his body screams for the organism. He quakes with fear, rage, and desire. His legs move before he makes a conscious effort to do so. They bring him closer to Venom. He reaches out. His fingers brush against the container that holds his partner. Something wraps around the boy and drags him away. He looks down to see himself covered in thin white threads. Threads that look akin to those a spider might make. The difference, it's not sticky. He wiggles out of it even as another scientist opens fire on him. Little plastic balls fly past him from the fingers of this other man. They shatter glass and bounce off the metal in the lab. Izuku maneuvers around them. He delivers a right hook to the one with the finger gun and kicks the one spinning the web-like substance. The kid turns back to the scientist holding Venom and sees him placing the canister onto a cart. His body wills him to move, but his ears hear Eri scream. Deku turns to see her in the arms of the scientist he just kicked down. An internal struggle ensues. Should he go for his partner or the girl? Moments tick by as he stands there running calculations. Letting loose a growl, the boy charges the scientist holding onto Eri. He drops low and sweeps the man's legs out from under him. Catching the girl, he sets her down. When he turns back to the cart, it is no longer there. Midoriya grabs Eri's hand and runs out through the door, still closing. His eyes watch the scientist with the cart turn a corner up ahead. He tries to chase after it, but the girl tugs his hand. Tears stream from the corners of her eyes. Izuku can see the fear written on her face. The choice creeps back into his mind. Venom or the girl? He looks back down the hall, his eyes filled with a deep longing. She squeezes his hand, bringing his eyes back to her. He flashes a smile and tells her that everything is going to be alright. The boy pats the girl on the back. The corners of her mouth turn up a little in a smile of her own. Then it disappears as a little plastic ball flies between them. Following the trajectory, Deku sees the finger gun scientist. He picks the girl up and takes off down the hall. Plastic balls bounce around them in the corridor. He ducks around a corner, but one of the balls bounces into his shoulder and drops to the floor. It has enough force to knock him to the ground. The girl skids across the floor. His mind is racing. How can he get Eri out of here? How can he get his hands on Venom? How is he going to make it out of this alive? More balls bounce around the corner as footsteps creep closer. By Izuku's count, there are 3. They are approaching with caution. He begins to prepare for the worst. He is quirkless and outnumbered. Even with all the training he has done, can he really take on 3 adults? He may be able to take out Finger Gun Quirk Guy, but what if the other 2 have powerful quirks? The footsteps are close enough to feel just around the corner. Deku prepares to engage them. He hears them turn around and scuffle ensues. He hears the finger gun firing. With no idea what is happening, the boy follows his instincts. Scooping up Eri once again, he races down the hall. Turns a corner and then another. Glances over his shoulder to see a man in red gaining on him. The boy pushes himself to go even faster. He glances behind to see the man is no longer there. Midoriya slows and tries to catch his breath. Worried about his mental state, the man rises from the floor in front of him and slams a fist into his chin. Izuku drops to the ground, Eri flying out of his arms. Even as his head reels, the boy reaches for her. His eyes come back into focus and settle on the projected future #1 hero standing before him, Lemillion. Eri sits in his arms as he tells her that she is safe now, that he'll get her out of there. Deku tries to stand. The hero in training pulls back his arm and prepares to strike him again. Eri hops out of Mirio's arms and stands in between them, stopping the fight. She explains that the boy is also a captive and has been trying to help her escape. Reaching out a hand, the Lemillion helps Deku up. "I'm sorry, Midoriya. I thought you were trying to hide her from us." The boy shakes his head. "I'd never do that. I've always wanted to be a hero." The hero in training inquires as to why the boy does not try out for UA. Deku tells the young man that he is quirkless. The man looks a little sad. "A shame, really. You showed such courage here today, Midoriya. Take the girl and follow me. I'll lead you out." Lemillion leads the two back through the halls the way they came. He leads them in the directions they seen Overhaul go. Deku tries to interject, but the pain in his shoulder flares up. Grimacing, the boy holds his shoulder. The man tells him to show him the wound. Despite the small plastic ball that dealt the damage, it is a large and deep bruise. Mirio asks Izuku if he can bear it for a while longer. The boy clenches his fist and nods, determined to do what he can. He takes hold of Eri's hand and follows the man. Coming across a large room, the three journey through it. While the girl has not noticed, Lemillion takes note of the boy beginning to shake. As they near the exit, Overhaul steps out. "Where do you think you're going?" asks the villain. He continues speaking without waiting for an answer. "Eri, you know what I will do to the two of them, don't you? If you come back to me now, I won't hurt them." Eri pulls away from Deku and tries to run past Lemillion as panic rises in her from Overhaul's words. The hero in training catches her. His words make her stop struggling. "Don't listen to him. You know he isn't the kind of man to just let us go. I'll protect you both." The girl nods and steps back. Deku moves to take her hand when his body begins to convulse. He drops to his knees and begins to empty the few things in his stomach all over the floor. Before Mirio can even ask if the boy is alright, Chisaki uses the opportunity to attack. He rushes forward, dragging his hands along the ground. Spikes explode from where his fingers meet the concrete. They rush forward. Lemillion kicks the retching child out of the way and snatches up Eri to leap in the opposite direction. The spikes fly between them, separating the hero in training and the girl from the former vigilante. Midoriya tries to stand, but his knees give out and he falls back down. He looks up to see Overhaul's hand reaching for his face. Deku's eyes widen and his mouth opens. His face flushes with fear. Lemillion's muscles bulge as he leaps towards the two. Eri screams at the boy's name. And insert cliffhanger. That's all we have for this part. I want to thank you all for joining us on this series. I hope to have another part out in less time, but we've been so busy with our newest project, Monster Link. Much like MHML, I'm also really excited about this project and glad to be able to share it with you guys. It's an upcoming manga about a world full of monsters. In a world changed, how do humans survive? What effects do these creatures have on the world and its society? We'll be exploring that and more through the eyes of the students of Jonauchi High. We recently finished voting on some of those character concepts, where you guys who have already been to the website got to choose what characters actually look like in this manga. Now we're going to be doing monsters. You'll actually be able to vote on what kaiju look like. I've actually been writing all sorts of scripts for this. I've wrote the first chapter multiple times at this point. Originally it was going to be really long, something like 74 pages for the pilot, because manga pilots are usually longer than the rest of the chapters. Due to monetary constrictions, I had to shorten it, and I actually rewrote it pretty much from the ground up and made it only 32 pages. But don't worry, I made sure to keep all the good stuff in there. Lots of character development, action, a bit of comedy. At the time of this recording, I'm actually working on chapter 5 now for the script. But we have tons of awesome stuff planned for this series, including later on the ability to vote for things that might actually affect the story. The polls for those will actually begin as soon as chapter 1 is finished, to kind of create this almost choose your own adventure type of story. But rather than having the different options and going through them, as a community we would vote and choose to see how that story plays out. The more story-specific polls will actually be available to our patrons. We're not trying to paywall anybody off, so even the lowest tier will get access to those. But currently we're paying for everything out of pocket. We need to start getting the ball rolling on helping get this manga self-sufficient so that the story can continue and doesn't just sputter out. For the higher tier patrons, we do have some other really cool things, like being able to read our scripts. You could technically read all 4 that I've already finished right now if you were a higher tier patron. Eventually, we'd even like to do a card game. We've been testing and playing around with that for quite a while. All of our patrons at that time will also have early access to a print and play test version of the card game. I've been so honored to be a part of helping to entertain you all that I just wanted to kind of let you know what we're thinking and our kind of vision for what we want to do with Monster Link. I'm glad to have you all here. So if you're intrigued by the idea, check out the website. If you really want to help support this manga and get it going, check out the Patreon. We're also on Instagram and TikTok. And just, I want to thank you all again. You're all great. Thank you. All those links are down below in the description. Till next time.